Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Yeah, I need it now, told him on the lay. I've been moving, dog, yeah, I'm on the way. I don't hear the talk, don't care what they say. I don't got no patience, I can't ever wait. I've been trying to get it, running up all these digits, and I've been in the gym. I've been up doing minutes, I just put in that work. Told them it's strictly business, and I see through the face. They all just burning bridges. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Yeah, they don't want it, dog, like I want it, dog. Yeah, they say they want it, then they took the summer off. I've been going down the list, checking numbers off. I was checking on your numbers, told them something's off. I was at the bottom, now you know I'm climbing. Now they sending deals, they know I ain't signing. They been trying to sell it, they know I ain't buying. When they send a text, dog, I ain't replying. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it now, I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen them down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for the raise. Got a mill, now they coming with a blaze. Check the numbers, fam, I swear I'm getting paid. I'm a Don just like the Perrier. It's my time when I'm looking at a face. On the low like I'm pushing up the bass. Told him come down and I'll meet him at a gate. Got a check and I bought myself a place. They get some money and they blow it on bait. I don't flex but I'm pushing all the weight. Told them all I swear I got it's what it takes. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it now, I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, hey, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mafia, we got quite the show for you tonight as Bitcoin has finally gotten a little bit of a move to the downside as we've been looking at that money flow on Market Cypher be cruising towards that zero line on the daily and the 2-day. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say this is the money flow playing out, but it may be able to signal that that money flow may be moving back to the downside. So I want to take a look at the charts with you guys, show you the key levels, talk about some trades that I'm in or one trade that I'm in, a short from the POC. We'll take a look at that, and I want to talk to you guys about where I think price is headed. We all know the money flow is bearish, but we're kind of at that weird part of the cycle where we may just see random fake outs to the downside before a big leg up. So I want to break down things, show you guys two ranges that I'm looking at to simplify the charts and give you guys kind of a roadmap to where I think price is going to go next. If you saw my market update that I dropped earlier, you will be familiar with these ranges. And since then, we actually came down to one of the exact key levels that we looked at in that market update. So buckle up, Mafia. It's going to be a good one. So shout out to you guys. And if you're watching, smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get will give you guys some extra chances to win some free crypto on Friday's live stream, which will be happening. It's not my birthday again. So we will be doing that giveaway. So smash up that like button. The more likes, the more free stuff. And we have those. Don't forget, we have the Frankie Candles hats back in stock, guys. So not only does that mean that you can go to frankiecandles.com to get one of the hats if you want to buy them, but it also means that we can start giving them away again. And if we start hitting some like goals, we'll start giving away some Frankie Candles hats. So if we get 850 likes on tonight's live stream, I will give away a Frankie Candles hat on top of all the crypto we'll be giving away. So smash that like button and shout out to the Mafia. It's going to be a good one. Shout out to Creighton C. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He says, remember when we were at 69K and you said we were going lower? And then price went up $400 and someone got all snotty. and then we dropped 10,000. Friendly reminder also one time at band camp, I met this girl with a flute. Shout out to Creighton C and all the flutes out there. Shout out to Creighton. But yeah, guys, Creighton has a great point. It's funny, like this is what we talked about last night with the time frames. When you see these macro bearish signals, something like daily money flow coming out or 2-day money flow coming out, this indicates a move down. But just like Creighton says, price will pump like $400 and people are like, what the heck? It was going to dump. I thought what happened. But these little pumps and dump are just noise in the market, guys. The money flow indicates the longer term trend, so you got to keep that in mind. Shout out to Creighton C. We know Creighton understands that, obviously, so shout out to you, bro. And speaking of shouting out people, shout out to Darren Does Things in the chat, said Creighton. That's legendary. Shout out to Darren Does Things, one of our technical analysts in the premium Discord. So you don't only get sauce from me in the premium, you also get sauce from Darren Does Things, an amazing, not only crypto trader, but he's also in there trading Forex as well for anybody interested. Guys, we got Brad Pitt in the chat. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for being here. Give us some sauce, Frankie. We're going to drop that sauce in just a minute. We got all set in the chat. We got Dave Digital. I was looking for him. Now we can start the show because Dave is here. Shout out to Dave Digital, our most official, unofficial mod of the channel, which kind of makes him the most official mod in my opinion. Shout out to Dave Digital. We got Hodl Crypto, Crypto Mike, Rob the Crypto Snob, Crypto Billy, Crypto Anon. You guys know who the mods are. Show them some love in the chat. We got Jay Violet in the chat. What is going on, bro? Creighton C, as always. Thank you for that super chat. And guys, Top G is here, and he brought his Bugatti, so we got to jump on into the chart. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in to the charts. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys, on the Bitcoin chart, and this thing took a little dumpski. And the question is, should you be scared? Is Bitcoin going to zero, or are we just more likely going to get a hard bounce from where we're at right now? Well, I'll say this, right? This is the short position that I'm in. I'll show this in just a minute. I showed it yesterday and the day before. I'm sorry, I showed it yesterday and last week. But I want to talk about this trade a little bit and why I took this trade, guys. Because, there is a reason why, we shorted the POC. We didn't just short this thinking, oh, resistance, we're going to randomly short this and hope it comes down. There are many things that lined up for this trade, so I want to talk about that. But for now, I'll hide that, and I want to talk about kind of the context that I'm looking at the charts in. And again, if you saw that market update, this will look familiar to you. But you'll remember last night on the live stream, guys, we had two very key levels. Number one, we had that key level, which was the value area low of the volume profile, right? Now, this was our key level that we needed to get back above and flip to support in order to see that move back up to the POC and the value area high. This is something we looked at yesterday, and it's kind of just pretty basic when you're looking at volume profiles, but this was quite a saucy level specifically, and again, this was what we looked at last night, specifically because we had this daily naked point of control here. So not only do we have the value area low, but we also had this daily naked point of control, adding a little bit of confluence to that level, and I hope that someone out there, at least one person remembers me talking about this and saw that and was like, hey, that is some nice confluence there. And as you can see, guys, we did wind up coming up, and we could not break above that value area low and daily naked point of control, and wound up resulting in a little bit of a push to the downside. And the question is, where are we going now? And again, if you watched that market update a little bit earlier today, you will know there are two major ranges that I am looking at. And I mean, we've looked at this on the live stream before, but I do just want to break this down to give the Mafia a little bit more of a simple look at the chart, right? Because I know it could get pretty confusing when you have an upper range and then you have a lower range just underneath. And sometimes when you have overlapping volume profiles, it can make for some difficult decisions, or it can make it difficult to make certain trading decisions. So number one, we have our main range that we had been trading in up here for like about 62 days, but this is our main upper profile, right? And again, in order to, I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, still, in order to get a move back up for Bitcoin, in order for this not to be a legitimate breakdown, or in order for this to not give us a bigger move down, we still need to get above those key levels, right? And the key level basically remains the same. It's $63,600, and now this is obviously a tapped naked daily point of control at this point, but we also have that value area low. So this level does remain valid, guys. If we are able to, let's say, we're going to talk about that SFP in just a minute, a little bit of a tricky setup there, to be honest, but I'll talk about that move in a second, but if we were to, randomly just get some kind of a pump to the upside, we must flip this level to support. This is not invalidated. We are not, it is not guaranteed that we're just going to dump from here. So if we do wind up seeing a quick move up, this is still going to be major resistance, in my opinion. And not only major resistance, but extremely important resistance, right? Meaning that this is the level that could be that doorway to higher prices if we flip it to support. So keep that in mind. And again, that level is coming in pretty much at $63,600. So have that marked on your chart, and just understand that that is the value area low of our major range. And again, we know once you flip that value area low to support, Creighton C, let us know where we're going next. If you flip that value area low to support, where's the next likely place for price to go? I know he's going to pop in here any second. Bueller. There we go, Crypto Billy. Oh, Crypto Billy was first. Oh, Creighton C was second. Shout out to Creighton C. The POC, guys, is obviously going to be the next stop if you're able to flip that level, right? Because that's how the volume profiles typically behave. Once you flip that value area low to support, that is where you're looking for a move to the POC, which does act as a magnet for price. Once you get back above that, that is where we can get that move up to the value area high. But until we still have quite a journey to even get back up here. So keep that in mind. But I just want to point that out. This is still a legitimate level. So just that it's still valid. But with that being said, earlier in today's market update, what I was looking at, trying to simplify the charts for you guys, was I was kind of turning on and off these two ranges. So this is range number one between 63,600 and 71K. And then if we go ahead and hide that, right, like if we're, what are we bouncing off right now? Why are we bouncing, right? Nothing bounces by accident. So obviously we do have that lower range underneath us. And earlier today, we were looking at those two very key levels. Number one was that SFP at $59,088. And then that value area low coming in at $57,592. I think the thumbnail was even like top two levels to watch. And simply put, we came down to that SFP level. And we actually did swing fail this level on certain exchanges. But here on the Bybit chart, you guys can see, I just sent this to the premium Discord. You can see we did just front run that level just a little bit right here. Whoops, let me kind of get a circle around there. But yeah, we did front run that level just slightly. Did not get the SFP, at least on Bybit. However, we did did wind up getting that level hit on many other exchanges, such as BingX, and then I think some other people were saying Bits. A couple of exchanges wound up getting that level hit. Bybit did not hit it, so obviously each exchange is going to have slightly different levels. However, nonetheless, we did get a bounce from that level, although we didn't even get the SFP, which is what I was looking for. But we did get that bounce, and, just because we have an SFP there, it doesn't mean that that level can't just act as normal support. But typically what I like to see on these levels, guys, is a big wick below the level, and then I like to see that candle wick back up and close the body of the candle above, and then that is a strong signal, in my opinion, that we are going to get a sharp reversal to the upside, especially if you know that you have a lot of trapped shorts that are sitting at the bottom of this wick. Now, I'm not going to go into exo charts right now and look at that, but just, for anybody out there using exo charts, or looking at order flow where you could actually see who is shorting, who is longing, and all the metrics of that. The reason I say that is because an SFP is simply an SFP. The reason an SFP is so explosive is it's kind of like a little mini short squeeze, right? Oftentimes, you will get that wick to the downside, and then everybody gets super bearish, starts shorting the bottom wick, and then as price reverses back up, you'll start to liquidate and stop out all those shorts. Putting a lot of buy pressure on the market, because when it gets stopped out or liquidated out of a short position, it does create a market buy. And that's oftentimes what creates those big pumps to the upside or those short squeezes. And that's why I mentioned those trap traders below. As just a simple thing that I like to see when I look for swing failure patterns on top of other stuff. But there we are, right? Came right down to that 50, like almost to the dollar. If you take a look at the, BingX was one of the other exchanges that this did actually wind up presenting itself on. So we come up to BingX. Actually, on BingX, only on the perpetual contracts, not on the standards futures, but only on the perpetual contracts, you actually did wind up getting, come on, if I could figure out how to draw on TradingView here, we actually did wind up, let me make this a little bit thinner so I can get a little bit more of an accurate line. Bada boom. So we zoom in here, you guys can see. Whoops. You can see we actually did just come down to that level. We swung it. Now, this I wouldn't really consider, technically this is a swing failure pattern, but typically I like to see a little bit bigger of a liquidation wick, but it does not mean that you cannot get that strong bounce, which is why we were watching that key level, and we did tap it, and now we're getting a little bit of a bounce, but I will be honest with you guys, the signals still were not super, super clear here, so it does look like we could potentially get a bounce here. Is this going to be the big bounce? In my opinion, all the signals are not there, and we still have our 4-hour money flow back in the red here. Now, we are about to print a green dot. Shout out to Creighton C. So don't be surprised if we get a little bit of a pop to the upside. But in my opinion, this money flow fighting against us does kind of point to some more downside ahead, in my own personal opinion. Now, this could change as soon as we get off the live stream. But as of right now, this money flow is looking a little bit bearish. What I would have liked to see here, guys, which would have made me feel a little bit better, would have been like a nice bullish divergence here. But you could see we are not getting higher lows on our momentum waves, so there really is no bull div, and the money flow is also going against you. Even if I had a 4-hour bull div here with money flow going against it, I would still put not a lot of weight on that div, right? You want to see those bullish divergences with your lower lows on price action, higher lows on your momentum waves, with your money flow continuing up alongside that, in agreement with that bullish divergence or bearish divergence, depending on what you're looking at. But, in my opinion, it's not like we're getting bull divs down here with an SFP, and then money flow is also ripping back to the upside, at least on the medium time frames. That is not the case. And, on the lower time frames, we are starting to get some bullish divergences. You can see we have a little 30-minute bull div here. Money flow's kind of deep in the red. If you come on over to the 15-minute, we are trying to work our way back up here. But I'll be honest with you guys, not the clearest signal, right? The clearest signal that I see right now for a potential long, if you didn't get in at the bottom here, we have the 5-minute money flow, which is now coming back out. But we have the 5-minute money flow coming back up with an 80-minute green dot printing. So we talk about that, the red dot with the money flow crossover strategy, the 1/16th market cipher B strategy, where we look for the green dot on the higher time frame, and then we look for the money flow crossing either into the red or into the green, depending on if you have a red or green dot. Obviously, you want those to agree with each other. But what we look for is a green dot on a higher time frame, and then we'll look for a money flow crossover into the green on 1/16 of that time frame, right? So I believe the 5-minute and 80-minute is that split there. So as you have this 5-minute money flow starting to work its way up, as we are printing that 80-minute green dot, this could give you a little bit of a bounce. But like I said, the 4 hours not really looking too primed, so I'm not in a long. I'll put that out there, right? I have not taken the position just because I didn't get the swing failure pattern, which was the main thing that I was waiting for. And we simply front ran the level, especially on Bybit, which is the chart that I look at. We front ran that, right? So with that being said, we could potentially get a little bit of a bounce here based off that little market cipher strategy, but I wouldn't really necessarily expect it to come up like massively. And just in case, we do wind up getting a massive rip up for no reason, and that, those little signals do wind up being super powerful, remember the key levels that we need to be aware of. What is going on here? What just happened to my chart? Oh, I'm on the Bing X chart. That's what happened. I was like, where'd my lines go? But yeah, if we do get that bounce, just remember, guys, the key level to get above, like let's just say, the money flow just rips back up on the 4 hour, right? And it's just like completely just reverses and comes to the upside, which doesn't happen very often. But let's just say it did wind up happening. If it did, remember that key level. This is the must break level. You must get above this level, guys. This is I don't care. We get a pump, right? This is lackluster in my opinion until we get up here and flip this to support. At that point, that is where, I will be saying, hey, those signals, those sketchy signals down here just wound up playing out, right? They weren't the best signals, but they just wound up playing out, right? Nothing in TA is 100%. So, I do have a plan if we do wind up just coming up from here. I'm not really interested in looking for a big position unless we wind up flipping back on top of this level, in which case maybe I look for some fresh longs, and my longs from lower will continue to pay me out. But again, the signals are the only signals we're getting are on the lower time frames, which would probably indicate, a little bit of a lackluster bump up before coming back to the downside, in which case I will simply be looking at our lower range for context, right? So if we break that SFP level, let's say we wind up getting another nuke to the floor. Oh my God, it's so scary, so scary. Wicks down. We have this value area low sitting at $57,600. This is going to be some nice backup support if we do wind up getting that swing failure pattern. So maybe if you do come back down, you can get a break of that SFP level, hit that value area low, maybe even deviate a little bit. But if you could get back up here and close that candle above and then get that reversal, you will have that swing failure pattern. It would be a high likelihood reversal. And that's just, this is what we've been looking for, right? I feel like I've been on the live stream for the past 6 weeks, just being like, hey guys, watching this SFP level down here. It's the next major level, looking at the SFP level, and then finally, it took hella long, but we are down here at that swing failure pattern at 59.88. So finally, we wound up hitting it, but again, didn't really get the beautiful signal. So we'll have to see what happens. If we break down, value area low is your next level. If we break up, the key level of resistance is simply put going to be this level right here, where you have the 63,600. So those are the key levels. That's kind of my plan right now, guys. Now, again, I am holding that short position from up here. Let me see if I can pull that up. I believe I'm logged in here. Bada boom. We showed this yesterday. It's up a bit more here, 19%. Not too shabby. What is going on here? Come on. Take it easy there. What is going on? How is this computer so bad? How is this computer such a piece of garbage? I hate this computer, guys, with a passion, with a burning passion. Anyway, it's a brand new PC, and I hate it. I'm this close to switching to Mac. But up 19%. This is only on 2x leverage. That's why that percentage is so low. And I have explained this this position in the past as, the reason I am using 2x is not just random, right? I don't just get in here and be like, I feel like using low leverage this time. This is all planned out. The reason I wanted to use the 2x leverage on this was because I actually anticipated price to come up and test the 786 Fibonacci retracement level. Let me pull it up here. Bada boom. Let's hide this stuff. Right, so I was actually anticipating, I believe it was this 786. We came up to the golden pocket. This was my entry number 1. This is where I entered part of that position, the position I'm in. And I actually was thinking it was probably going to be likely that we did get a shot up to that 786, which I would have added to the position at. But simply put, we did not get that extra push up. So I did not get to fill that second port of the order. But we wound up getting in here, and that is playing out pretty nicely right now. Sorry, had to throw something off my desk. But that is, that's basically it. 19% up, $1,648. Technically have $7 positive from the fees. But Not too shabby. Like I said, I am going to be holding this just a little bit as we have this money flow coming out into the red, right? Like this is finally the money flow on the daily is crossing over into the red. Now, I will say this, guys. This does not necessarily mean that we are 100% guaranteed to see this big trend to the downside, but it does make it more likely than not, right? And this is, I don't even really want to talk about this. I'm like kind of like nauseous about talking about this. With where we are in the cycle, fake outs to the downside are likely before the next big move up. So you have to keep that in the back of your mind. But just looking at the charts, binarily, 1-0, yes, no, black, white, right? Binarily, this is bearish money flow. And this is, again, remember, and on the 2-day as well, money flow continuing to cruise to the downside here. This was part of the reason why we were looking, even before we got this drop, this is why we were looking for that. Like, let's go into bar replay mode real quick. When we were looking at this back here, I guess this was early, April 16th around. Come on. Right here, bada boom. Come on. TradingView, you could do it. Come on. No? You want to pull that range? Okay, doesn't want to work. But that's why as we were in this volume profile up here, as we were bing-bonging around, we were saying, hey, if this money flow continues out, because not only are we continuing out locally, but we also have a high here and then a lower high here, so it's also coming out over time. This could potentially signal that as you bing-bong around here, this range may be more likely to break to the downside rather than break to the upside. And we talk about this because people always ask me, Frankie, I know you long and short the highs and the lows of the volume profile, and that strategy works. I've tried it. I've made money. These are things that literally people say to us on the stream. They'll like super chat and be like, hey, volume profiles changed my life. But people always ask me, like, I get looking for longs as you deviate below the low and looking for shorts as you deviate above the high. But Frankie, how do you guess or figure out whether you are going to break down out of the range or up out of the range? And simply put, guys, other than just like experience looking at the market or looking at the order flow, this is another way that I look. If you look at exo charts, you could kind of try to monitor what the actual traders are doing in here, how many people are longing, how many people are shorting, what is the spot market doing. There are ways to figure it out. But if you're just looking at money flow, when you have money flow trending out on a higher time frame, this would indicate to me that, hey, I know the money flow indicates a longer-term trend, and if this crosses into the red, we could anticipate a breakdown out of that range and a continuation to the downside. And if you're new here, just understand, guys, money flow indicates a longer-term trend. I always say this, and I always like to reiterate this, when we have when it's been a little while since I've said it, right? When we are when we're looking at the chart, right, the money flow would indicate the long-term trend. And I show this example almost, not every stream, but like very often, right? Money flow crosses over into the green here on the daily. This is a high time frame, a strong time frame, right? So when you get a money flow when you get a money flow on the crossover on the daily, this is not something to be taken lightly. So this would indicate that the trend is about to start and continue to the upside within the context of the daily, which again is a large time frame. So once that money flow crosses over into the green, we expect a trend to the upside. And this actually kind of goes back to, I'm going to delete that. But this kind of goes back to Creighton C's comment or his super chat, where this is how you could kind of assume where the big moves and the small, this is how you could separate the noise in the market from the real moves, right? So when that money flow crosses over into the red, that's where you're expecting a real trend to the downside, right? Whereas the red and green dots just indicate the ebbs and flows or the noise in the market, right? So money flow crossover into the green, we're expecting to trend to the upside, but when we look at that, we don't freak out when we have a money flow crossover and then price pulls back, right? Like this little pullback is just noise. This is kind of what Creighton was saying. It's like you see money flow coming down and then price pumps a little bit and you're like, oh my God, what happened? I thought money flow was coming out. Why are we going up? And it's like you have to zoom out and understand how time frames correlate and relate to each other, right? So when you're looking at a daily money flow crossover, this is giving you the overall context that the long-term trend is continuing up, right? But then if you go down to like the 5-minute, this is going to look like a massive dump. And like that's where people I think get confused. They're like, I don't understand. Money flow's coming up on the daily, but price is dumping, right? The money flow correlates to the time frame you're looking at. So this is kind of how you can figure out your longer-term bias, right? And that's why when we were bing-bonging around up here, we were talking about, hey, this is basically the big reason why this is kind of the big reason why I was not holding the long position Shout out to the premium Discord. I believe this was a setup in the Discord. But I took a long here, right? And I did not expect this to just rip up to all-time highs, right? And now I had that as a plan, right? If it did happen, I had a plan for that. But trading is an if this then that statement, and not only is it an if this then that statement, it's more of like it's better to stop thinking black or white, 1 or 0 for the most part here and start thinking in like shades, right? Because once you start thinking black and white, this is how people get wrecked, right? Because they just bet $1 million, like they bet their life, right, on a big move to the upside or a big move to the downside. This is gambling, right? Trading is much more like shades than it is black or white, yes or no. And this will change the game for you if you start looking at the markets this way, because sure, we knew, right? I wasn't saying as we were down here, like, hey, I'm longing and we're 100% going up, but I also wasn't saying that we are 100% going to reject from the POC. And then people might say like, well, then what kind of analyst are you if you can't, oh, there we go. Again, a little push to the upside. People might say, like, what kind of analyst are you if you're just saying it could go up or down? And this is just the reality of being a trader, right? You have to be able to do this. And again, look at the market in terms of shades rather than black or white, yes or no, binary, 1 or 0. To me, right, the way I planned this was to get into a long below the range, right, and then ride this up to at least, if we flip this value area low to support, I was looking for a move at least up to that POC, right? And then at that point, I was closing out most of my long. I believe I got stopped down in profit on that long on the way down, which is obviously the point. And then we entered our short, right, because money flow was coming out on the higher time frames. So that's why I was looking for a bigger short trade up here, and it's another reason why it was only on 2x leverage, because I actually even anticipated faking out a little higher to add to it, right? But the reason we took the short here, and we weren't just like, because the basic rules of the volume profile is flip the low to support, hit the POC, flip the POC, go to the high. But that was not the case in this at this point, right? In this specific situation, it was more likely, in my opinion, because of money flow in the higher time frames, to break down here, and that's why I took the short. And I just really like to give you guys a transparent view into what I think about when I'm actually getting into these trades, because again, a majority of people, especially when you jump into trading, you expect it to be like, money flow crossover into the green, long, right? Like, there might be a point where money flow crosses over into the green, and then I take a short on the 5-minute, right? And this is just all part of your journey understanding TA and trading, right? Time frames are super, super, super important. You have to not only understand the difference between them, but how they relate to each other and correlate. So anyway, with that being said, that's how we got here, guys, and that is why we took that short. That's why I anticipated price to move down. I hope that, and I know it kind of took a long time because we've ranged around here for 2 months, but like this is not that shocking, right? And we also talked about how when you get a bounce when you get rejected out of a range, especially when money flow is coming out like it was here, if you're going to reject that range officially, which in my opinion is not quite official just yet, but if you are going to reject that range decisively, a lot of times you will come back up, test that POC, and if you get a strong reaction at that POC, that's where you look for the bigger move down. And simply put, I can't say how many times we said like that exact thing. Like, guys, money flow is coming out, and I don't say this to be like, haha, we're right at all. It is the opposite of that, right? The reason I'm saying this is to hopefully click in someone's brain. If it's one person in here that clicks and goes, oh, that's right. He was talking about that. I remember him talking about how when money flow comes out on a high time frame and we come up and test the POC, that's a danger zone. I remember him saying that. I also remember him saying that Fibonacci retracement would be, if we're going to put in a lower high and continue to the downside, breaking these lows, which we just did, if we were going to do that, that was likely going to happen at that golden pocket or 786 retracement. I try to walk you guys through exactly what I look for these trades. So, if you want the actual setups, the spoon-fed trade setups with the confirmations, you can check out the premium Discord in the description down below. Shout out to the kitchen. But other than that, guys, like we are basically just seeing things play out, right? So major range below us. If we break that SFP level, I'll look for the swing failure pattern. And then obviously we have that backup support down here at the value area low. And then at that point, guys, I will say this. If we wind up breaking down below this value area low and we start to lose like 56K, this is definitely bearish in my opinion, right? We lose 56.5, 56K decisively. This is where I am anticipating a pretty likely move back down through this low volume gap. We talked about this in the in the market update earlier today, if we do wind up, and here we are, just turning off the value area high, value area low POC like we do every single day. We'll save it as default, even though that doesn't do anything. But if we wind up breaking down below that $56,000 level, guys, and we cannot get bullish confirmations below this value area low, and we cannot flip that level back to support, this is where I look to potentially fall through that gap pretty quickly to come back down and test this high volume node between about 51 and 52K. So there you go, right? And, this has kind of been what we've been looking at all week, right? And for the past few weeks. But we're just finally seeing price move a little bit more now, so it's not as boring. But there you go, guys. These are the key levels. Feel free to screenshot these. Obviously, if you're using the VPVR, this could add a nice visual aspect to your chart, letting you know like when you're entering that low volume gap. And then it also obviously highlights your high volume node here, which is pretty nice, right? And I'm not saying that we're guaranteed to get down there or down here, but I will say if we do wind up getting some kind of like panic dump down to 51, 52K, I will say, guys, if we don't hold this, we could potentially even get a bigger move down all the way to this $42,000 level where we have this previous value area, which is sitting right here, right? We have this previous value area where I'm actually long from. I'm long from right down here at about just under $40,000. And this is another big level to be watching if we get the big move down, right? But that's if. Trading is an if this, then that statement, as you guys know. So there you go, guys. That is, let's see. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Said, who forgot to flat smack that like button? Guys, don't forget to smash that like button. It is the easiest. And to be quite honest with you guys, like the most helpful thing you could do for the channel is just click that like button. You don't got to buy our products. You don't got to buy the hats. You don't got to buy the merch. You don't got to get the premium Discord. You don't even have to... I don't know. You don't have to do anything. Just smash that like button. It helps us out infinitely. And if we get 850 likes, we will be giving away a Frankie Candles hat and $100 in XRP. I just added that. But anyway, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Yo, shout out to Bread Pitt. Said, please stop, Frankie, or I can't close an eye this night. Holy mommy, I'm scared. Shout out to Bread Pitt. And I will say this, guys. Like, I'm not necessarily saying like, oh my God, this is so scary. We're gonna dump down to 51K. Like, I'm not like calling for this, but it's again the if this. Shout out to Bread Pitt. It's the if this then that, right? And I'll be right there with you, Bread Pitt. I'll need you to hold my hand too, because if we start falling here, it's gonna be a little bit scary. And you can imagine what the market's gonna feel like. Everybody on Twitter is gonna be calling for 10K. Everyone's gonna be calling for 3K. Oh my God, we're going back down to zero. Crypto's a scam. But we're just gonna sit here and be like, the money flow on the daily was coming out. But I will say this too, guys. We are still technically at a risk of faking out, right? I know a lot of people are probably sitting there thinking like, well, you were saying we could be at a high risk of faking out to the downside before a big move up. That is still a possibility. It's not that this move down completely invalidated that just yet. So keep that in mind. But if this money flow keeps going the way we think it is, the TA will simply just play out, like it does more often than it doesn't, and we could potentially see that continued downtrend. Not guaranteeing we come here, but it's an if this, then that. And this is how you make money in the market, guys. And like I hopefully showing these trades to you guys really like helps you guys understand, right? Like the reason we took this trade. Shout out to Femex. If you guys want to sign up on Femex, trade with us and me and the CandleMafia, long and short your favorite coins. Go ahead and hit that description. Click on our link. You will help out the channel, but obviously you'll get some kind of bonus. You'll get the bonus trading funds, so you can take risk-free trades with Femex, the exchange's money, and or you will get a discount on your fees. Check the link in the description down below. But again, right, this is why I like to show the trades. And not only that, but walk you guys through like exactly why we take them. And not only that, but like the exact thought process, right? Like I try to answer all the questions that people have, like that, or that I think people have, right? Like I think to myself, if I was a beginner, what would I be asking right now? I'd be like, well, hey, Frankie, like, you're usually trading with way more leverage. Like, why 2x on this one, right? So I just try to front run those questions and answer them, right? And I try to give as much free value as possible. So, again, the reason this is on 2x leverage, I simply used higher capital with lower leverage, again, to give myself a little bit more breathing room to get, because I was willing to let that run on me a little bit. So there you go. We'll have to see what happens here. I'm probably going to take profit on this, take a little bit of profit off this tonight. But there you go. And shout out to anybody who was watching the live stream yesterday. When it was revealed to me that I never got stopped out of a D-Gen long that I was in on my birthday. and wound up just running into that trade yesterday on the live stream, and it was wound up going up. It wound up being up about $1,300. But I do want to reiterate, guys, that was like, I'm like disappointed in myself for that trade. I don't care if that trade ripped up to $30,000 in profit. It would have still been a loss for me in my head with my trading psychology because I shouldn't be in that trade, right? You should never be looking at your account and being like, wait a second, I'm not in a trade right now. Why am I up $500 or whatever it is? This is not how you want to trade. This is a mistake that I made. I'm not perfect. See? So, yeah, just make sure you keep your eye on your trades. For the love of God. Even Frankie Candles gets overwhelmed. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on. Shout out to Eula said, should we sell everything? I don't know if I'd go that far. I can't tell you when to. Yeah, shout out to you. That's weird. I read your regular chat, and then you super chatted. Shout out to Ulas. Said, should we sell everything? Shout out to Ulas. I will say this. I can't tell you whether to buy or sell anything. I can't tell you when to enter a trade or exit a trade. This is a decision that you have to make. I'm not a financial advisor. I can tell you what I'm doing. I am not selling everything. But I will also say this, Ulas. I like that you asked this question because if I could answer this 100% honestly, I would say you are asking though, yeah, shout out to you, Lots. Yeah, for me, I'm not selling. I actually bought some altcoins with the anticipation of potentially coming lower. Right? It's not that I like dump my whole bag in because I'm guaranteeing that we're gonna bounce. But I did buy. Hey, I'll just share it real quick. I bought a little bit of Chain Swap, which is a. I'm probably gonna make a video about Chain Swap, but I bought a little bit of Chain Swap. And I also bought a little bit of REN, R-E-N, if you guys want to check those out. I'm not going to go into them right now. Probably come out with some videos. Maybe we'll do some updates, like chart updates for those specific altcoins if you guys would be interested in that. But yeah, ChainSwap and REN. I did just buy those literally 20 minutes ago. So, but again, could go lower, and I will just simply DCA in more. But yeah, I'm not selling everything. But I will say this. Shout out to you, Las. If you are asking, asking should I sell everything is simply, and I'm glad to give you my opinion, obviously, and what I'm doing, but asking anybody if you should sell everything, and I understand where the question comes from, right? Because I would ask the same question if I was starting in crypto 100%, right? So this is I'm using this as a learning opportunity. I'm not picking on you at all. I love that you're answering this question, but for the Mafia, if you were asking anybody if you should sell everything, this is the wrong question, right? And this will typically lead you to losing a ton of money because then what happens is you're going to listen to somebody. They're probably going to be wrong. You're going to sell everything, and then you're going to get mad at that person for saying you should sell everything, when in reality, it is not their fault at all. You have to make your own financial decisions, and I would say replace the question of should I sell everything. Replace that question to how do I learn when a good time to buy and sell is? And no one wants to ask that question because it takes effort to learn, right? So everyone just wants to be like, should I buy? Should I sell? But the question should be, how do I learn where's a good time to buy the dip? Or how do I learn when a good time to sell is? And then you can learn how to do the TA and then do your own analysis and your own research and then make those decisions based off of what you think, right? That way when you lose money, there's no one to point the finger to because in my opinion, the best thing you can do in this market is make everything your fault. I've bought coins that my friends have told me to buy, right? I lose my money, and I've had the thought too, like, oh man, I would have never bought that coin if that guy never told me to buy it. Still my fault, right? And this is, taking full accountability for all your financial decisions, crypto, stocks, whatever. This will completely change the game for you because what it forces you to do is it forces you to, you don't want to be wrong, right? People don't have a problem blaming somebody else, but you don't want to be wrong yourself. So what this kind of does naturally is it kind of kicks you into overdrive and gives you lights a fire under your butt, right? To do the research and you're going to be doubled. Once you take responsibility for everything, or not responsibility, but accountability, you're going to start saying hang on, let me check all these time frames. Hang on, let me see what the other coins in this sector are doing. And you're going to wind up doing really good research. That's really what that's going to wind up leading to, which not only will, help your psychology because you're making decisions based off your own knowledge, but you'll also get good at TA and build a skill that will be repeatable over time. So there you go. But shout out to you, Les. Thank you for saying that, brother. Because I know there's a lot of people out there that are probably thinking the same thing. Should I sell? And I could just tell you what I'm doing, right? Which is not selling. But who knows? If everything dumps, that's when people come up and they're like, you told me, you said you weren't selling. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm not. I'm still buying right now. And those people are like, so just take that for what it's worth. That's a little bit of a rant here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. Shout out to you, Lost. Thank you for asking that question. I appreciate that because these are the lessons that I think majority of people need to learn. So shout out to you, Lost. Appreciate you, brother. All right, let's go ahead and continue on here. If you guys, I think it's about that time to start looking at the altcoins. So yeah, go ahead and spam those altcoins and rob the Crypto Stomp account of the votes and let us know which ones we're going to be looking at. And we're going to start off with Ethereum and Flux. I forget who it was. It was something with a V. Somebody was in here last night asking for Flux. They super chatted, and I missed the super chat. And I told them that we would start with Flux. So hopefully they're there here. And if they're not, somebody in the Mafia, go ping them and get them in here because we're about to do some Flux TA. And then obviously a few more. But let's go ahead and continue on here. Just scrolling up in chat. Shout out to Fought Gaming. Said the hats are fire, though. Shout out to Fought Gaming. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you for tuning in and hanging out with us. I hope you had a safe flight home from the ATL. Shout out to Fought Gaming. It's my friend from New York. Friend Nicky. They call him Nicky K. They call him, I don't want to dox him, but I would say his name in a very funny Italian way. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on. Okay, Gala, Theta. Okay, shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Oh, yeah, there he is. Okay, shout out to Rob. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on. I want to start off with Ethereum, or Erythrium, as your grandmother might call it. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Okay, so we're coming in just at about, let me come on to the live stream chart. Bada boom, come to ETH. Yeah, so, all right, so here we are. With Ethereum, this was what we were looking at yesterday. Let me just get my bearings here, right? This is the 30th, 29th. Yeah, I mean, you cannot make it up, guys. Hang on. Let me get a clear read on this. Let's see. Yesterday was the 29th, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. You can't make it up. Can't make it up. Okay, so this is actually a very weird fib pull. And we honestly ripped above it, and then we decided to reject that 786. This is interesting. This is like not, yeah, this is not, I guess, yeah, this is not what I would have been looking at, to be honest. But either way, oh yeah, getting a little bit of a bounce here. Bitcoin, not, I mean, obviously ETH's bouncing a little harder than Bitcoin. But simply put here, guys, this is the new ETH chart that we drew yesterday. And these were the support levels on the way down. And this is a testament to TA not working 100% of the time. This is actually very rare that this happens. But we had these three key zones of support. Zone number 1, cut through like melted butter. Zone number 2, cut through like soft, like hot butter. And then finally, we dipped this value area low, and that is where you wound up getting the bounce. To be quite honest, I mean, I'm sure we talked about this yesterday. This is why I don't like to trade in the middle of a volume profile. I would much, much, much rather wait to come back down to the value area low, which was sitting right down here where we bounced. And I'm sure we actually did probably get some pretty nice bull divs down here. Yeah, so 30-minute, nice little 30-minute bull div here as you deviate below the value area low. This is where you are thinking that this is oversold, right? This is a cheap asset based on the relative price action, right? Your fair value is within this box, and you are now below that box, meaning that this asset is on sale, and this is what triggers me to look for a long position, aka buy the asset at a discounted price to ride it back into the value area and sell at a premium, right? And make that money. So at this point, let me go ahead and get rid of these levels because these are now going to change. I'll actually leave this daily level and daily naked point of control because these are going to be key resistance on the way back up. So if we do get a bounce here and we do get back up into this value area low, or we remain, yeah, so starting to bang our head on the current value area low, but if we pull back to the previous value area, you can see we are above this, right? So if we're able to stay above this level, you could potentially look to run up into this daily and now tapped daily and tapped naked point of control as resistance. So, and again, with money flow on the higher time frames, crossing over into the red, as you can see, 16-hour is now back in the red again. Daily is back in the red as well. I'm sure this is a blood diamond. I would be surprised if this isn't a blood diamond. There it is. Beautiful blood diamond on the daily. Bada boom, brings you right back down. Shout out to Market Cypher. But yeah, I mean, this is, these levels do kind of remain the same for the most part, right?
get back above this value area low. We stay above this level. You could get a move to the daily naked point of control at about $3,067. Flip that to support. Could start your journey back up to the POC and the value area high of the range, getting closer to 3180. So there you go. Now, if you do wind up breaking back to the downside, I will say, let's pull up some naked points of control. I actually believe we have these already marked out, but I will just... I'll just take them from here. Okay, so I'm actually going to pull up the weeklies. So if we do wind up getting a bigger breakdown, the next key level I would look at would be this weekly naked point of control sitting right here at about 2644. And that's kind of the only level I'll give you, because if we do break down, I don't really see us just absolutely nuking right through that level overnight. I'm sure we will see each other before then, if it does wind up happening. But this is a weekly naked point of control. This will be another very key level to keep an eye on if we do get another big move to the downside. So with that being said, though, look at that. I mean, volume profile just once again, prevailing here, right? When in doubt, what just happened to this volume profile? When in doubt, trust the volume profile. Value area low. This is why we look for longs at the lows and shorts at the highs, right? I don't know why this moved so much. Let me go ahead and undo that real quick. Bada boom. Okay, so there you go. That's what I'm looking at on ETH. And again, that weekly naked point of control sitting right here is going to be your next key level of support, sitting at 2646. Where you have this next little area of consolidation, which I guess is worth mentioning, right? Yeah, it's kind of just a slow grind up, but I would probably try to pull this range something like this. Bada boom, right? This is between about 2,400 and about 2,200. So this is going to be another zone to look at. I mean, we're really far away from that at this point. I would just watch that weekly naked point of control for the most part. That's kind of your next, local key level to the downside. Again, 2646. But we have to break out of this volume profile. Until then, we could, or I would expect, as long as you remain above this key level here, that is where we will go to potentially just kind of bing-bong around in this range. We lose the range, that's where I would wind up. I would definitely look for long confirmations below the value area low, but once you decisively lose the range, that is where you will look for that move down to 2646. All right, there we go. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Said, pin my next comment. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate you for dropping those altcoins. You are the man, my friend. Let's see. Wick says, lol, David, man, I've only ever seen one DeLorean in my entire life. Shout out to the DeLoreans out there. I don't know if I have ever seen a DeLorean in real life, but they are pretty sweet. Shout out to Crypto Vol, says BTC pumping a little bit. Yeah, we are getting a little bit of a pop to the upside here, back above 60, back above 60K here, getting a little bit of a pop ski. Question is that going to be the thing that we need? Is this going to be enough? Actually, let's come back over here. Whoops. Is this going to be enough? I love having this little bit of a cleaner chart here. But yeah, the question is, are we going to remain below this POC? This POC is local resistance for Bitcoin right now, right? Because again, let me get rid of the SFP level. We're looking at this as a volume profile, right? Simply put, what we would look for here is a break below the value area high, can't get back above, move to the POC. If we can't get back above that POC, we are definitely going to be waiting for a move to the value area low. If we flip that POC to support, simply put, it now opens the door to come back up to the value area high. In which case, you want to remember, right, you have this key level sitting right here. That's your next key level after this POC, right? At, again, 63,600. So there you go, right? And that POC, the local POC, is coming in at 61.93, right? So locally, you got to flip that level to come to the value area high. And then again, to get the real big move up, if we are going to get it, right, you got to get above this daily naked point of control, or tapped daily naked point of control / value area low of the range. So there you go. And I will say, right, I was talking to the premium Discord earlier today. Definitely not impossible to bounce from where we are right now, right? We technically did swing fail. We didn't swing fail the wick I was looking at least on Bybit, but we did get some nice swing failure patterns. We did get some nice swing failure patterns right about here, right? And you can see wick, right? We could draw these as multiple SFP levels, right? Come on. Bada boom. Right? And then you got this one. Whoops. Right there. Right? So you have all these SFPs that were able to potentially potentially able to take, but these are more local SFPs, and this is likely going to be, this is probably what's giving us the bounce to the upside, right? These SFPs are actually pretty clean. So yeah, talking to the premium Discord saying, hey guys, like not impossible to bounce here. I mean, you have the SFPs, you also have some low time frame divs here. Right, 24, 30-minute divs are starting to play out here a bit. Money flow starting to come out a tiny bit, coming up a tiny bit as well on some of the lower time frames, 12-minute. So, not possible to get a little bit more of a move to the upside here. But again, like the medium time frames, the main time frames are still not like screaming go to the upside. Again, green dot looking to print on the 4-hour, but money flow is fighting against you. This is not the best look. So there you go. But, again, this is why we give the key levels, right? If we wind up flipping that key level, right, at, again, one more time, 63,600. We flip that. Probably going to be likely that we continue to push up, and then that was likely the low. But we got a lot of work to do here. So we'll see what happens. Keep pumping, baby. Keep it ripping. We'll see. Let me pull up XO charts real quick. Yeah, we might be able to squeeze some shorts here. Maybe able to squeeze some shorts. But anyway, with that being said, guys, we took a look at Ethereum. We took a look at Bitcoin. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at shout out to Big Daddy. Shout out to Big Daddy. He says, I've seen this before. They call it the Tommy Knocker pattern. He says it happened in 1986 to IBM. Shout out to Big Daddy, bro. It actually made me laugh out loud. All right, let's see. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Yo, Big Daddy. Okay. Shout out to Wick's wife. 589. All right, let's go ahead and continue on here. We got 929 people concurrently watching this live stream, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button. 850 likes. We'll get $100 in XRP gifted to one lucky CandleMafia member and a Frankie Candles hat to that same CandleMafia member. So you got $100 in XRP and a Frankie Candles hat. Just smash up that like button on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Smash it. Let's go. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on. Next altcoin, let's take a look at Flux. Let's go ahead and wait, shout out to Bullish Bradley said Tommy Knockers is an indicator. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm sure it's not, but I'm willing. I really need to take a chance here. Dang it! I really wanted it to be real. Come on. Come on. I'm going to come up with my own indicator and call it Tommy Knockers. Anyway, Flux Algo. Shout out to Crispy Crypto Supreme. Shout out to Lux Algo, guys. Funny enough, go check them out. Link in the description down below if you guys want to see any of the premium indicators they offer. They also have 163 indicators. Super nice. I actually had a bunch of stuff on Lux Algo I wanted to show you today, but funny enough, I lost access for some reason. I don't know if my subscription expired or whatever, but we're fixing that. But definitely go check out Lux Algo, guys, or Flux Algo. It's actually Lux. But go check them out. And thank you for reminding me about that. I lost access for some reason. I don't know why. So we'll fix that by tomorrow's stream. And it's actually, I'm kind of disappointed because I had some pretty nice stuff to show you. Actually, I could probably show you guys. Let me see here. Actually, what I was going to show you guys was the buy-side, sell-side liquidity. A lot of people ask me, Frankie, where do you get your SFP levels from? And other than finding them with my own eyes, a lot of times what I will do is use the Lux Algo. And shout out to the Mafia, guys. This is 100% free, so you guys can literally go use this right now. This isn't even paid. Definitely check out their premium stuff as well. But a really easy way to kind of mark out not legitimate, but significant liquidity swing points is by using the buy and sell side liquidity, right? And you could see the wick that I was actually looking at, the wick that we are currently bouncing from right now, is getting marked out here by the Lux Algo. Buy and sell side liquidity is the name of that indicator. Just type in buy side. Just type in liquidity and look for buy-side, sell-side liquidity, and it is free. You guys can go check that out right now. But yeah, shout out to Lux Algo. Go check them out. Link in the description down below. They do 30-day money-back guarantees, and they offer infinite infinite amounts of indicators. And yo, speaking of indicators, shout out to Crypto Face. If you guys are into Market Cipher, Face. How about that money flow, bro? Daily money flow plays out once again. Oh, actually, this popped back up into the green for a second. Interesting. Shout out to Crypto Face in the chat, guys. Drop that Market Cipher emoji in the chat and the goat emoji, because the goat is in the house. Shout out to Face. What is going on, bro? Thank you for stopping by. And yeah, look at that money flow, guys. Unbelievable. I want to say the money flow never lies. And I want to be like, well, technically not never, but it's almost never. It's literally almost never. There's the Market Cipher emojis. Go ahead and drop them in the chat. Let's go. Shout out to Crypto Face. If you guys want to check out Market Cipher, link also in the description down below. Let's get it. As you guys know, it's one of my, probably, one of my main indicators. If you watch a Frankie Candles live stream, there is a lot of Market Cipher going around. So there you go. Shout out to Face. Face, let me know what you are thinking, dude. You thinking down or up? And, I don't know. I feel like the daily money flow is saying down, but checking back towards the last halving, money flow, well, this is the weekly, money flow does spend a lot of time in the green here. Do you think we're going to fake out into the red face, or do you think we're going to come into a big red wave and get a decent correction? I would love to know what you think. Shout out to Crypto Face. Let's go. Bada boom. Shout out to Wick589 said, I like Crypto Face for his TA, but I stay in the streams for the karaoke and the rants. Let's go. Shout out to Wick589. Let's go. Okay. Let's go ahead and continue. Look at the Market Cipher emojis in the chat. I love this. Let's see. Shout out to Crypto Face. He said, it looks like you're doing good, my man. Shout out to Crypto Face. So, yeah. I mean, I will say this, guys. If this money flow crosses over into the red and we dump down to, 51, 52, maybe even in the worst case scenario, 42, right? If we get that big correction and we fill these massive volume caps, if I could find the VPVR, if we fall through these low volume caps, guys, and money flow crosses over into the red, I will come up here and spend 2 hours talking about the money flow crossing over into the red. I'm sorry. I'm going to come up here and just rant about money flow for 2 hours. Because it's like every time I'm like, it's so trusting, right? It's like that friend that never screws you over. So shout out to the money flow. Oh, God, I want it to happen so bad. I just feel like it plays out so much that I feel like it's bound to not play out at some point, right? But every time I think that, it just works. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and jump on in back into the altcoins here. And let's see. And Face, I have one question. When you say Frankie in that super chat, is it Frankie or is it Frankie? Shout out to Face. If you guys remember when we had him on the channel. Amazing time. Face, if you are down, we have not been doing collabs for a little bit. I got a lot going on. We're working on a bunch of stuff behind the scenes, but we are going to start up soon. We got to have you back on, dude. So if you're down, we would want to set something up at some point in the very near future. But let's see. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next altcoin, which is going to be Render, or Earnder, as some people say. Let's take a look here. Okay. Let's see. I don't think this is our actual render chart. Bada boom. Maybe we should just start with a new render chart. Let's take a look at the Bybit chart. Okay. So I'm going to start fresh here. And let's go ahead and mark out some key levels, right? So let's take a look at the weekly. Turn on those naked points of control. And let me just mark out a few of these. Bada boom. I'm going to mark down one down below here. We'll label that weekly naked. And then we'll get one right up here. Okay, so that's two naked weeklies. Let's take a look at the dailies. And we got a daily here. And we got a daily, whoops. Labeled as daily. And we got another daily right there. And we got another daily right here as well. This is worth marking out, in my opinion. Yeah. So there we go. Let's turn off that indicator. Let's go ahead and pull a fixed range here. Let me pull up the VPVR actually really quick. Shout out to Fitness First Mindset said, does VWAP follow money flow or vice versa? Shout out to Fitness First. So for me, right, money flow, right, I use the VWAP to anticipate the red and the green dots, right? So the VWAP here is right, this white wave. Every time that crosses over the zero line, actually, Face is in chat. Please, Face, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I actually think, from what I see, I think what actually prints these green dots and red dots is the crossing of these two waves, the blue wave, this like light wave and the dark wave. Once that crosses, like you see the dark wave cross or the light wave crossing above the dark wave, that gives you the green dot, and then you cross back over, you get the red dot. I can't figure out if that's what prints the dots or if it's the VWAP crossing over. I look at the VWAP to anticipate the green dots, right? So when I see the VWAP coming up towards that zero line, I anticipate a green dot to be printing, right? And then once that VWAP crosses back over to the downside, I expect a red dot. And then and again, the red and green dots indicate, the way I interpret it, right, the red and green dots indicate the ebbs and the flows in the market, right? So it's the ups and the downs. It's the noise. The money flow indicates the overall trend, right? You could see money flow, and someone came in here yesterday and was like, money flow is lagging. And I love that they said that because I was able to explain how I use it. Like, in my opinion, money flow is one of the only leading indicators, right? Like, I don't think it's leading as in like it's predicting the information before it happens, but it like obviously any indicator is just recording information on the chart and plotting it in a visual manner, right? But because of the directional nature of money flow, you can see when money is coming in or out over time, which is insanely valuable, right? Because right here you see money flow coming up. It doesn't mean that you're just going to get an instant pump to the upside, but if that money flow continues up and crosses into the green, you are expecting an uptrend to continue, right? And then what happens? Money flow crosses into the green, and then you wind up getting a massive move to the upside. I mean, not even to the top, but this first big move here, 246%, all indicated by the money flow. Now, did you get pushes to the downside in that money flow wave? Absolutely, right? Even here, you got a 10% dump to the downside. This is where not retail, but like new people would be like, oh my God, money flow crossover into the green. Why are we coming down? Because you're probably coming down based off a red dot, which obviously you did have right here, right? But that red dot is not making you anticipate a big move down. So you could get the red dot and anticipate a small move, but as long as money flow continues up, you're anticipating the trend to continue. Money flow indicates the longer-term trend. The red and green dots indicate the ebbs and flows or noise in the market. That's how I explain it. Or at least that's how I interpret it myself, right? So there you go. But now as we're taking a look here at Render, let's go ahead and take a look at the VPVR real quick. See where we have our actual volume being traded. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Yo, shout out to David Brumbelow. Let's go, bro. Shout out to you. Said Market Cipher. Let's go. 1885, 1955, 1985, and 2015 incoming. Where we're going, we don't need TA. We make the markets happen with our flux capacitor crypto screens at 1.21 gigawatts. Let's go. We draw magic lines and get results. Let's go. Shout out to David Brumbelow. Bing bong. Shout out to David Brumbelow. Thank you for being here, bro. And I'll never forget. I think CryptoPhase was talking about the spider lines. And I think I've heard him say before, like, people say they're magic lines, but I'm making money off these magic lines. So I don't care if they're magic lines or if it's legitimate TA. Like, people say TA doesn't work. And I'm like, I make money using TA every day. I lose money sometimes, some days too, right? Obviously. But, I make money every day, right? Using technical analysis. So whether it's fake or real, which I think it's like, it's obviously real, but like people who think it's fake, it's like, you could think it's fake. That's fine. We make money using it. So I'm just going to keep using it. If a unicorn told me, if a bird came up and tweeted, it went tweet, tweet in my ear, and I longed based off of that, and he was right 80% of the time, simply put, people would be like, you can't trade based off a bird. Well, every time he tweets twice, I long and make money. Why would I just stop doing that, right? But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on. Shout out to Wick589 said, see, my weird cats have context too, though. Shout out to Wick589. I don't even know what that means. Shout out to Wick589. I do like how you call your, how people call you Trash Cat because you're a possum with the little stank fingers in your profile picture. Never heard someone call opossums trash cats. That's like kind of what they are, though, right? But anyway, shout out to Wick589. At least I think that's what they say. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. Let's see, bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Fahad. Hopefully I said your name right. Said, hey Frankie, it's your new member from Pakistan in Discord. Big fan. Love your analysis. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for being here. Says, can you update on your market cipher indicator setting and its settings? Yes, I will. I'm not going to do it right now, but I will just tell you this. This will probably answer most of your questions. I'll just pull it up quick. I'm not going to go over it in detail. All my settings are default. The only thing that I have changed is the colors to match the branding of the channel. And I just take off the RSI, and that's it. The RSI and the stock RSI, I take off, right? And that's not because it doesn't work. It's just because I like to have a little bit of a cleaner chart. And the RSI is something that I probably should look at more, but I just don't really pay that much attention to. So I just took them off to make it a little bit cleaner. But other than that, it's just colors. Everything else is, all the calculations and stuff are all default. So there you go. All the changes I've made are just cosmetic. So hopefully that helps you out. And I also think I have a video on the channel explaining all my settings on Market Cipher if you want to get those exact same settings. So there you go. The secret is in the colors. Shout out to Francisco. Yes, not a lot of people know that, but okay, let's go ahead and continue on here. Let's go ahead and take a look here finally at render here. We got the VPVR up now, and I'm going to pull a little bit of a fixed range here. Pull it right here. Whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Bada boom. Okay, so this is not really the cleanest range in my opinion, right? So I wouldn't really necessarily. I mean, it's kind of a clean range, but yeah, it's honestly kind of wonky. But I will say this, right? If money flow on the daily is now officially in the red, technically you have a little bit of a bull div here, but it's nothing. You know, it's not even printing yet, right? But if you wind up getting a move to the upside, right? Daily money flow crossing over into the red, 2-day money flow potentially looking to cross over into the red, and yeah, 3-day also coming out as well. So in that case, I would potentially, yeah. So if we do come up, I would probably be pretty careful. Let me come down to a lower time frame. I could probably find a little bit of a more of a local range here. Yeah, I will say this is kind of the context that I would probably be looking at. If you came back up into this zone, you have a pretty big plethora, as some people say, of resistance, right? So if we do wind up getting a bounce back up to the high of the volume profile, I would potentially be looking at shorts up here. Also, this daily naked point of control in confluence with your POC would also be a bit of a, yeah, this would probably be another key level of resistance, right? I would actually separate these probably into 3 different zones. So yeah, right? And I'll even mark out the volume profile as well. Excuse me, bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, so if we wind up getting back up here, holding it as support, could get a move back up to the POC. But just like on Bitcoin, guys, when we looked at the last deviation below the low on Bitcoin, right here, we took longs, right? But we knew that it wasn't likely to come all the way back up to the high. Right? It wasn't impossible, but we knew it was more likely to get a bounce off the POC and come back down. So it's kind of the same situation here on render. So, whoops. So, with that being said, I would be very cautious, right? Like if you were able to find a reason to long here. Now, I'm not seeing any divs or anything on even the lower time frames. Like, yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you have some 15-minute divs down here, money flow coming back up. Your 4-hour VWAP or your 4-hour green dot is printing, but no div. So yeah, you may be able to get a bounce here as you are at the value area low. I definitely would not be getting super short here as we are at support. This is where all retail will just, oh my God, we're breaking down, let's short, and then they get wrecked. I would rather sit on my hands or look for longs, right? So if you do get a move to the upside, I would definitely be very careful around this POC. And Yeah, all three of these levels would be kind of important for me to watch, in my own personal opinion. And, if you wanted to look at a hyper-local level, really at the beginning of all this volume at about $7.80, could be the start of some resistance, as well as it is the local Fibonacci Golden Pocket 786 retracement level. But other than that, I would look to potentially range around in here. If you do wind up losing this level, you do have quite the gap underneath. You can see every time we lose this level here, it's a big shot down, even right here, big shot down. So chances are, and this is likely caused by this giant volume gap. So if you do wind up getting a move down here, come on, volume. Let me bring back in some more price action here. Come on. There we go. So, yeah, I would look to potentially get a move. I would definitely be looking at this as key support as well, right? So sitting right here, bada boom. Bada bing. Right about there. So, yeah, if you lose this, probably going to fall right through that gap into this next key level of support. So there you go. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Nicholas. Said, hilarious. You think retail is shorting anything? Shout out to Nicholas. I do include myself in retail. I'm not talking down on retail. Technically, we are retail as well. Just because you are retail doesn't mean you can't trade with the smart money, right? All right, let's see. Shout out to the Godfather. Said this Frankie guy is pretty good. A real mafia guy. Shout out to the Godfather. Gotta respect the Godfather. Show some respect to the Godfather in chat right now. Let's go. All right, let's go ahead and see here. Let's continue on. Bada boom. Let's take a look at Flux. Probably should have looked at that first. But let's take a look here. All right, so we could start a new chart here. Bada boom. Come on, there we go. And let's come up to the daily. Let's pull up the VPVR. Take a sip of the black coffee. And let's take a look here. Okay, so interesting. This is, what is this? Is this December 2021? Okay, so actually going to pull this real quick. This is obviously longer term, but definitely valid levels. So we're going to snipe this little volume profile all the way out here. Bada boom. Bada bing. Bada boom. And, I always say no rejections happen by accident, right? These levels are clearly respected, right? You get above the value area low, where do you go? Straight to the POC. We get resistance on the POC, rejection, bounce off the low, 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 we lose it, right? So that's why I pulled these levels from all the way back in the day, because they are indeed respected. You can even see them getting respected right here. So with that being said, in the longer term, that is going to be your, your upper range that you're looking to get into for big moves to the upside. But other than that, the only other kind of area of consolidation that I see to be legitimate would be sitting right here, right? Obviously, this is supported by your nice chunk of volume here. And this is coming in at about 58 cents, or the POC's at 58 cents. Range starts at about 62. And then the value area low coming in at about 50 cents. So with that being said, if you do wind up losing your key levels here, in my opinion, it is worth watching this range low in case you wind up wicking down and snapping back up. However, once you wind up losing these key levels to the downside, gonna be somewhat of a gap here, right? So once you lose these levels, right, bada boom, can't get back above, probably gonna get a quick move down, right? Quick moves up oftentimes lead to quick moves down through those volume gaps, bouncing and finding support and consolidating on the higher volume areas. So that is what I'd be looking at here on Flux, right? This is definitely key levels to the downside if you get a big dump on here. I'm not going to lie, guys. The one thing that really has me saying that, I am open to the big move to the upside as well. Obviously, we're not just blindly bearish. But I just feel like I would love for price to come back down so I could buy more alts. And I just feel like typically when I want something like that, I just don't get it. So this is kind of what makes me feel like we may just fake out to the upside on top of the actual technical reasons. Shout out to Francisco, said Frankie the real G. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to Creighton, said retail shorted. Shout out to Creighton, says retail shorted the S number sign out of it. Yo, shout out to Creighton C. You are a legend, bro. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Fitness First Mindset, says, oh, I have a question. What's the deal with money flow and time frames? Like, is there any knowledge or power in the countdown on the time frames? So I think you're probably talking about this countdown, because this is the only countdown that I really see or know of. All this countdown does is it lets you know when the candle will close and a new candle will print, right? So the daily close is here in 59 minutes and 26 seconds. So we'll print another candle in 59 minutes and 20 seconds. So there you go. If that's the countdown you're talking about. But if you're asking me to explain like money flow on different time frames, like this daily money flow crossover would obviously be more of a longer term downtrend than if you were to get like a 5-minute money flow crossover, right? And the easiest way that I could kind of exemplify that or make that tangible for you is simply, if you look at a 5-minute money flow crossover, like even a big one like this, right? You crossed over right here, right? And then price wound up bringing you down about 3%. Right, so that's a full money flow crossover. And then a money flow crossover into the green happened about right here, brought you up about 5.5%. Right, now if you come on over to the daily and you look at the money flow crossovers, these are obvious. I don't want to say obviously because I know it's probably not obvious to a lot of people, but this is 470%. Right, even if you just went to that first little crossover. Top, which would be 144%, right? So that's the difference. Like money flow on the daily time frame is going to give you a much bigger move up than a money flow crossover on a lower time frame like the 5-minute. So there we go. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. Shout out to Ellie, says, do you think we could hit 40K? I think 42K is not impossible if we get a big move. But that does not mean like saying Bitcoin is going to 40K, right? But I will say if we fill this whole low volume gap right here, from this big move up, and we do get the big move down, like we would expect, fast move up, fast move down, right? I got to start clipping this stuff because if we do get that quick move, I'll be like, does anybody remember we talked about the fast moves up, fast moves down? But at that point, this is like the last line of defense, right? 51 to 52K, this whole cluster of consolidation, this range, I know we're kind of far out, but I have to zoom out to show the higher time frame or the grander perspective. If we lose that 51 to 52K level, specifically 50K is the bottom of the range. If you wind up losing that, there is another massive low volume gap down into our next profile down here between, $45,000 and, $38,000. So, and the POC of that range is coming in, I believe, at like 42, making 42K like the real key level. So there you go, right? And this can all be visualized using volume, right? This is not, this is why I love the volume profiles, right? Like, why would you get a quick move down here? Well, there's nothing holding you up, right? This is simply how you can, like, in a simple way, use the volume profile, right? Without, like, understanding the intricacies. If you lose this level down here, quick move down to this this high volume node is likely. Why? Because there's no volume here to hold you up, right? And then right here, we would likely bing bong around like we did right here because we have volume here, right? Now, once you lose that high volume node, chances are you're probably going to grind right back down to the next high volume node, which simply is at that $42,000 level, give or take. So is 40K possible? I mean, I wouldn't say it's impossible. Nothing's impossible. And as a matter of fact, if we make it down to 51 to 52K and lose that, it's likely going to be the next stop. So there you go. Hopefully that helps you out. Shout out to Moon Trades. It says #value. Shout out to Jock says # value as well. And Moon Trades, I thought your name was Mom Trades. And I was like, no way do we have like a soccer mom in here trading. But I just completely misread the word. Moon Mom. They're somewhat close. Anyway, shout out to Moon Trades. But let's go ahead and continue on here. We took a look at Flux. We took a look at Render. Let's take a quick look at Dogecoin, which I did just look at before I jumped on the stream here. And here we are at the golden pocket retracement that we drew a couple days ago, maybe yesterday. I don't even really know. But here we are, right? We do have, let me get rid of this line here. Let me draw this volume profile because we do have a pretty, similar to Bitcoin, we have a pretty big range here on Dogecoin. Right now, we obviously lost the range. We're bouncing off our golden pocket. So is it possible to get a bounce off this golden pocket? Yes, especially if we zoom in, right? And hopefully, I wonder if this can help some people understand the time frames. If we get a bounce off this golden pocket, what are we going to be doing? We're going to be zooming in to this little candle here. This little candle on the daily, this little wick down here, if we zoom into a lower time frame, look how big that circle is now. Hopefully, I think this is the easiest way to explain time frames to people, right? On the daily, right? So that daily candle is a big candle, right? Like what's today, the 30th, right? So that big daily candle is right here, right? But when you zoom in to the 5-minute, you have a ton of tiny little candles in between that. Right, this is why I use the lower time frames for sniper entries, because when you get a big signal on a high time frame, you can zoom in. Right, we're not going to get, if we're looking for a bounce on this golden pocket, the daily is not going to give us a bull div on this one candle. You need more than one candle to make a bull div, right? Now, obviously, you can have a bull div on the daily if you have a high and or low and a lower low, and then but. When you're looking for, if you're looking to get in right here, I mean, even if you had a bull div on the daily, that would just add confluence to a bounce here, but you can't find a good entry on the daily. There's no information here. So that's why we go down to a lower time frame and we zoom in to get another way to explain it is a higher resolution view, right? The daily is like a pixelated screen with a couple of pixels that you can't make up the image of, right? It's just looking at like one pixel as opposed to zooming in or looking at a higher resolution to get more pixels. And then when you look within these more pixels, you can, okay, well, look at this. Well, what do we have here? Well, we actually have bull divs, right? We actually have some tangible bullish divergences, higher lows, lower lows. I wouldn't even draw it like that. I would probably draw it like this. But you have lower lows, higher lows, and you could zoom into those lower time frames to get those actual signals to snipe those entries and get in at the actual bottom. So there you go. Hopefully that helps, just spit a little extra sauce while we look at Dogecoin. But all in all, we are looking at the golden pocket here sitting at about 13 cents. Get a bounce here. Key level of resistance would obviously be the value area low. POC as well, so I will mark this out, right? Key resistance above now is sitting right here. Bada boom. And then I would also look at this local resistance as well. So these are two key levels of resistance if you get a bounce that I would look at. Once you break above this zone right here and you're above that golden pocket 786 NPOC, this is where you can look for a bigger move up to your next key zone, right? Which is going to be between this value area low of the macro range above and the value area high of your local range that we're looking at right now. So those are the key levels. I wouldn't be surprised if you get a bounce off the golden pocket, but in the grand scheme of things, what can we say about the Dogecoin chart? Well, what I would simply be saying here is that as if we, again, we're not necessarily getting like super, like if these were lower lows on price action into a key level, which is the golden pocket, with higher lows on our momentum waves on the higher time frames, right? If it looked like that, this would be a long for me, right? But because we don't have the bullish divergence and money flow is fighting against us, it does make it somewhat more likely, in my opinion, to potentially get a move below the golden pocket and a dip down to that 786, right? And then at that point, that 786 is going to be key support. And at that point, you're getting pretty close to this next zone of support, which is coming in at your value area high, daily naked point of control sitting at the top of the bear market range. So if we dip back down to that, I will be honest, we never retested this value area high after the big breakout. We never tested that value area high right here on a higher time frame. So if we do get below that 786, these are definitely the key levels. Break the 786, look at it come down to the value area high, daily naked point of control at about 9 cents. So there you go. Shout out to Ellie. Thank you for sending that slice of pie. I see it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Shout out to Jordan. Thank you for the super chat. Said with on base, strongest community on base. Shout out to Jordan. Is with on base now? Let's go. Shout out to Jordan. I appreciate you for letting us know. I'll have to check it out. All right, let's go ahead and continue on and take a look at Solana, which is our next altcoin on the list. Bada boom. All right, let's take a quick look at Solana. And I forget who it was. It started with a V. But someone asked for Flux. Hopefully they're here today. And if not, hopefully they see a clip of this or something. But anyway, let's go ahead and see what we got here. So let's take a look at the daily. Actually, yeah. So on Solana, guys, for the most part, actually, let me pull up this Solana chart, right? Oh, we're not on a live stream chart. I was like, what is going on here? Okay, so let's take a look at this, right? And you can't make it up, right? You cannot make it up. The volume profiles will always prevail, guys. Like no guarantees, but like literally, I'm going to get rid of these local levels, right? These were, just to give context, these were levels of resistance. In case we did pump up to these levels, they would be interesting places, in my opinion, to take shorts. But probably wound up just rejecting one of the more local fibs, which was right here. But I'm going to get rid of these local levels and just talk to you guys about what happened here, right? Because we got to move above the macro value area low. We hopped above the POC, right, which is the doorway to higher prices. What happened after we flipped that? Well, it's a doorway to higher prices, so simply put, we went to higher prices, right, coming up to the macro value area high. And again, once you flip that value area low in POC, the next likely place for price to go is going to be that value area high. So what happens then? This is where we look for longs, right? And then as you approach that value area high and deviate, this is where you can look for shorts, right? And you're looking at this as an overvalued asset, and you're looking for it to return back into the range. And then if you can't get back out, that's where you're going to expect a move back down to the POC and potentially back down to the low. And then we got that big wick down to this value area high, tried to get back in, and what happened? We just couldn't make it, and we just wound up losing the range once again. But as of right now, we are deviating below this volume profile. Let's see if we have any reasons to look for any kind of significant bounce. I mean, I would look for this, right? I would watch out for this. If we wind up confirming or printing, I mean, it's not printing just yet, but as long as this momentum wave on the daily remains higher than the previous one, we could potentially be putting in a bullish divergence on the daily time frame. Now, looking at the higher time frames, are we going to be expecting a massive, massive move to the upside? Probably not, right? Why? Because money flow is fighting against us as my chair sinks to the ground. But money flow is simply fighting against us, right? So we're not going to be looking for price to absolutely yeet to the upside. But excuse me. But more than likely, price will bing bong around here and then get a bigger move to the downside based off of money flow, right? 16-hour money flow is, tanking here. This is not the best sign as well. Potential bullish divergences, but you have to realize that, money flow is not in agreement here. So in the longer term, maybe we get some local bounces, but I would anticipate these to be somewhat sketchy to potentially return back to lower prices just based off the higher time frame money flow. And I'll be honest with you guys, we use that money flow to get into the short position here on Bitcoin, right? We use that money flow, anticipating that short to play out based off the higher time frame money flow. And I'm glad we did, right? Because it does play out more often than it doesn't. So just keep that in mind. And on Solana, it's kind of nice because if you do get the big move down, I will say, this does wind up. Let me actually pull this up a bit. Bada boom. Just pull that from this low to the high. Yeah, right on that 786. So I'll be honest. I don't think that it's unlikely to get a bounce here, but I would be very, very careful because if you cannot get back above this value area low, which is sitting at about $133, again, this value area low is not even necessarily the this value area low is not even necessarily the key level, right? In my opinion, the real key level here is going to be the POC, right? Because if you get above that POC, if you get above that POC, the POC and the value area low are very close. And we are looking at a different chart because I'm on a different tab here, but it all remains basically the same, right? Get above this POC. Actually, I'll just pull up the original chart we looked at just so I don't confuse anybody, right? So this POC, it's a little bit lower on the other one, but between $133 and $140, I am looking at this as a zone, right? Because when you have the POC and the value area low close to each other, once you flip this value area low, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom, you have the POCs right above you, right? So it's really not the doorway to higher prices as it typically is, right? So in this case, the POC is the doorway to higher prices. So flip $140 to support. That's what could give you the bigger move. But other than that, I'd be very, very careful with these money flow crossovers into the red. for a potential continued move down. Now, checking quickly on Bitcoin again. Yeah, still maintaining above this wick here. But now you guys have those key levels because let me pull up this old bitty chart. So you guys have the key levels, right? That range, remember, that range down below right here is what I am using for context, right? So if you don't want to, if we're not going to get accepted back into the higher range, right? If we're not going to get accepted back into the up, or if we're not going to, if we get a bounce, got to flip that value area low to support, right? And again, that is at 63.6. We took a look at that level many times. But if we continue to break down, just simply looking at this lower range. And if you're wondering, Frankie, where is this magical range coming from? I don't understand where you get this range from. Simply put, this is pulled from an area of consolidation from the top of the old bull market, right? So that's where I got this range from. And as you can see, the POC has been absolutely legendary. But if we lose that POC, much more likely to get that move to the value area low. So if we want the move up, you got to flip that POC to support. And more importantly, you must flip this value area low to support. So with all that being said, guys, I think that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. Didn't know if I hit the wrong button there. But with all that being said, guys, we are out of time. I think that is all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in and sticking around to the end of the live. We still got 699 people in here. Not too shabby. I appreciate every single one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. I do not just say that because I'm on screen or on camera. I say that because I genuinely mean it. I love doing this every single day, as I say every single day. But hopefully Bitcoin bounces. If it doesn't, you guys have the key levels down below. Like I said, I did not take the long at least yet. If I find an entry, maybe I'll take a little bit of a scalp tonight. But again, I really would prefer to see lower based off the money flow, right? And then find a more certain and a more tangible long signal, as the signals are we're a little bit sketchy today. I'd like to see a clearer signal and a move to the downside. If not, I'm still in my longs from lower. And if we get some kind of random move up, I'm covered. But until now, I'd prefer a move down, cash out a little more on the short, get a better long setup, get in, and then take more profit on the short. Let the longs play out, and maybe we'll just short the top and long the bottom again. But if not, we're prepared in either direction. So with all that being said, guys, I will see you here, same place, same time, tomorrow night, right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
We got creative.
Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen him down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for the raise. Got a mill, now they coming with a blaze. Check the numbers, fam, I swear I'm getting paid. I'm a Don just like the Perrier. It's one time when I'm looking at a face. On the low like I'm pushing up the bass. Told him come down and I'll meet him at a gate. Got a check and I bought myself a place. They get some money and they blow it on babe. I don't flex but I'm pushing all the weight. Told them all I swear I got is what it takes. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late.
Yeah, head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switch switched up, whose man's high? Through it all, I stay the same. I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right. I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life. I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose, and I'm coming right inside. I'm in mine, yeah.
Shout out to Shelly? I can't see it. It's really small text, but shout out to Shelly says, learning so much. And they also said something about a meme coin. I'm not going to read it because I don't want to promote any meme coins. But shout out to Shelly said, I'm learning so much. You taught me everything. I think you said that. Well, shout out to you. I appreciate you learning from me. I appreciate you learning from me, if that makes sense. Because that is the goal of this YouTube channel. And by you saying that, I know I'm doing my job by teaching you how to read these charts and make better and more informed trading decisions so you can, at the end of the day, stuff a little bit more of this in your pocket. So shout out to Shelly. Shout out to all the Candle Mafia out there. And yeah, apparently Whiff, people want to see Whiff right now. Is Whiff going crazy? If it's going crazy, I'll look at it. If it's not going crazy, I'm going to asta pasta real quick. Nothing's happening. Asta pasta. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll.